Hello, 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 and welcome you guys to Astrology and Alchemy with your hosts, Paranormal Sarah, that is me, c'est moi, and Matthew Slozer, who will not be joining us tonight because he is on business. It is the summer, guys. It's in the middle of family and business. And so from week to week, we really appreciate your patience because it'll probably be me in a few weeks from now when I'll be in Kansas City. So it's kind of just a give and take, a little handoff. But we will give it a few minutes for the advertisements and YouTube and all of our sponsors. If you are joining us on Subspace or Odyssey Radio or the Paranormal Channel or Paranormal Sarah, there are so many avenues that are streaming us now. It's really exciting. So we appreciate you listening in and tuning in wherever that might be from. Be sure and join us in the live chat room on YouTube if you want to chat live. Tell us where you are, what your thoughts are on how to use some of this astrology. That's really the goal of this show. Every week, Matthew and I, our goal is to bring you perspectives of how to use astrology, because oftentimes metaphysical stuff is kind of joked about. It's not taken very seriously. And the truth is, especially working with Matthew, it's mathematical. Oh, no, say it's not so. It's true. And a lot of it is statistical, and the relevance to be able to apply to your own life for anyone like myself who maybe has struggled with anxiety or depression or concerns of impulsive thoughts, intrusive thoughts, the ability to have a little bit more control over things or preparedness in your body, all things that astrology helps me have spiritually and otherwise, to be connected to the stars and to be a little bit more aware of our residual energy, our connection to our ancestors, all the things that they start to marinate over time in your character, I think, and they become something more and more important. I know they are for me. So I hope that if you're joining us in the chat room, that you will share with me where you're at, how you're doing. This past week has been a lot. This past Cancer season has been a lot. We know that the Independence Day here in America, the 4th of July, a lot of little holidays coming and going, that people are out of work, they're going to the lake, they're either not home, but this Cancer season, in alignment with some of the shaking and rattling with Pluto, would suggest some major life transformation. And that is not without saying. Some of the movements of Mars lately, Mercury lately, Pluto in Capricorn, all of it. Big changes in authority figures, boundaries, cluster bombs, you name it, you say it, it's out there. Acceptance is a big part of that. So we have one thing happening. So for those of you who are joining us for the very first time, go run and get a piece of paper, quick. Go run and get a piece of paper, quick. So that you can write down your predictions and your expansions for some of these movements. One of the things I love about having Matthew usually is he breaks it down even further. You're going to have just me, little old lonely old me, which I don't know if I'm going to be able to do as good of a job. Please be gentle with me. I'll be typing as I fill it in. You guys, getting a piece of paper allows you to put these dots down for each day, predict it out, look at the next 7 days ahead, and tell us, you know what I mean? What you think is going to happen, and be able to pan it out and know your own intuition, because skepticism is really the biggest blocker for intuition when people are reaching out and saying, how do I become more psychic? It really is that when something happens that you have the validation of it. So in that, you have to set yourself up for those accomplishments. And to do that, it's just the awareness of present moment and some of the symbols in your own mind. So astrologically speaking, let's get into this. So today is Tuesday, the 11th. And today, it's a little bit of a residual from last night. It basically happened in the middle of the night. And this was, and maybe you felt it, maybe you experienced it. I'm going to put it in the chat room now. Tuesday. Here it is. And did I spell that right? Who knows? Maybe I didn't. I'm not the best of spellers. But today, I left an S out. Tuesday, early in the morning, Mercury moved into the sign of Leo. And what the heck does that mean? Well, Mercury is the planet of communication. It's going to be helping you take what is your thoughts and down and hopefully out of your mouth in a successful way. And the mouth has been moving through the constellation of Leo, which is pretty prideful. It's a fire sign. It is a mutable fire sign. Is that right? No, I am so sorry. I just lied to you. It's a fixed fire sign, which means that it's very stubborn. It's sitting right there in the middle. If you're somebody who plays music or maybe even guitar and you are interested in learning astrology, they will look very, very similar. So go there, take a gander visually, and you'll see that that fire space, man, people are going to be maybe a little bit more egotistical, maybe a little bit more selfish. Oh no, narcissist, look out. No, it's just that people are going to be sending messages that are a little bit more daring. Ooh, there's going to be statements that, and we saw that today in the news too, made that are a little bit more saucy, a little bit more fiery. Messages from the ravens of the underworld or from whomever your messengers are going to be a little bit more on fire, a little bit more relevant and a little bit more saucy than usual. So keep that in mind. You might even find your own tongue a little bit more on fire than usual. So divination suggestion would be keep it quiet, know how to tone down, and how to just focus on the doing without inflating that prideful space too much. So your north node, that is going to be what is moving on Wednesday. Only one dot needs to be made for Wednesday, July 12th. That's tomorrow, guys. What's happening? Well, I'm going to do my very best to write it in the chat room as I do it. Hi, feels like forever since we've heard from you, says Carson in the chat room. I know, right? Not now. Now we're doing it tonight. Okay, here we go. Wednesday, the North Node. What is one's North Node? Your North Node, in astrology anyway, symbolizes where you're going in this lifetime. Where in the F and F'er are we going anyway? It reveals an energy to you that you need to be able to take control of. If you are playing the game, you're looking down, this is kind of, where your destination might pan out to be, the soul mission, whether or not it's Zelda 1 or Zelda 2. The North Node is going to give you some insight into those passions specifically for you and your soul, your talents, and the things that you want to invest in to help you reach your fullest potential. So some of those feelings that you've needed to expand, that you've needed to do more of this, like I would say in my case, I need to be doing more writing, then this is a sign. And the North Node is leaving or moving into a sign of Taurus, constellations of Taurus this week. And what the heck does that mean? Taurus, there's another fixed sign, meaning that it's standing there right in the middle of the teeter-totter. You've got your cardinal, you've got your mutable, and then you've got those fixed right there in the middle with their hands crossed around their chest. And that is where our life path seems to feel like it is at these days. That, you know what, something is meant to be something bigger, something about these passions needing to reignite. Find your focus. Find your focus. This is going to be really key come Wednesday. Everybody's going to be kind of floundering about thinking that there's bigger things, there's bigger fish to fry, that there's more to life than this provincial. It's like Beauty and the Beast when she's out there singing, there must be more than this provincial life. Dun, 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 dun. She's out there dancing around, of course, living with her father safely on a hill, being perused. Perused is not the right word. Chased by, pursued is the word I was looking for. Pursued by the town hunk. It's like, come on. This is going to be a big feeling that people have on Wednesday, ourselves included. We are not special, but we are. So we're all going to feel a little bit connected to this pull in our soul to try and clarify what it is we're supposed to be freaking doing anyway. Bonjour, Laurie, merci, comment ça va aujourd'hui? And it's exciting to see what it will be that pans out for everybody. They're going to be kind of speaking, if you're somebody who likes to utilize astrology to psych people out, or just to be more connected, as that's what we're kind of using it for. The idea is that Taurus is, and you're going to hear me type this, Taurus is stubborn, cold, thoughtful, and I put this in quotations. All right, all right, all right. So listen for silent whispers of what people really want. And it'll be almost said, in that way, very California surfer kind of jam. And that's cool. And that's great. And that's going to give us this idea of what is it that people do want? Like, what do you want, man? And it kind of gives me high fidelity vibes of you're going to be coming into this great epiphany of what and how things are really connected. Because right now, guys, we have a lot of planets in retrograde, meaning quite literally that our ancestors went outside, looked up, and half of the freaking sky was gone. The planets that you look to know where certain energies are was gone. It just was nowhere to be. And so that's kind of scary to imagine. You can imagine people just being like, what in the F and effer? Has God forsaken us? I don't believe that that is the case, but it's just because they're retrograde. They're not visibly in the sky. So you can't use them to predict certain energies. But Thursday, go ahead and put our dot down for what is going to happen on Thursday. And I hope we have some of our other astrologers joining us in the chat room. Please correct me if I'm wrong. I utilize the Farmer's Almanac. Then I go back and I look at a few other sources online. Planets aligned today. There's another one. I just deleted it because it was freaking my screen out. And I kind of track it in that way. There is no God, only Zul. Isn't your, yeah, Brandon is Taurus. And so kind of being familiar with that energy, a lot of, it seems that the men that I've dated in my life are usually earth signs, which I'm an earth sign. So I'm an earth sign. That kind of gives a vibe, maybe. I don't know if it's a good thing or not that we double down, but it's very quiet and thoughtful and all of the things. Thursday, let's see what's happening. Put one dot down, guys. Boom. I'm going to share it in the chat room first. Maybe that'll give you some incentive, guys, to go there and join us online. Thursday, the moon. The moon will be waning. What does that mean? That means that we just had the full moon. The full moon. That was the crazy about 4 days ago. Peaking outside, beautiful, bold, bright, beautiful. We're going to have Aurora Borealis on Thursday. We're going to have some solar flares popping up tonight, tomorrow, that are going to be poking holes in things and making beautiful colors pop up in the ionosphere and magnetosphere around the planet. So Thursday night, if you've got clear skies, hopefully those of us in the northern spaces should. I'm in Minnesota. Where are you? But Thursday, astrologically, the moon will be getting smaller. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge, as far as what we can visually see. And it's going to be waning in, getting smaller in the sign of Gemini, the constellation Gemini. Somebody must be thinking about me. My nose is itching. So, moon, you're going to hear me type this out. Our feelings and waves of emotion begin to subside a little more as the moon wanes into a smaller power. Nope, not power is not the word. Influence. The sign of Gemini would suggest needing to hear two sides, getting more information, hearing many perspectives, tuning in and out, and going both ways. See what all you can see and help this apply to soothing emotions. The divination suggestion or shadow work, because I always put that in for those joining me in mentorship positions or private readings. That suggestion for this is going to be like mirror magic or ITC work with air guides. And usually for those of you who join us every week you kind of are familiar with this platform, but maybe if you're here for the first time, welcome. And this sounds a little unique. I always have a little side spot here on my Excel document that goes out and I share with everyone that my predictions as it affects us globally or on a macro level, on a bigger level. And I see that as radio signals or messages or mixed messages. Say that as we will. We'll just keep that there. Those of you guys who are my military friends, family, and veterans, you kind of hear me on that one, I think, more than others. But that's okay. Okay, that's the only thing we have for Thursday. Then we are going to have a Friday prediction. Hi, Ruth. Lori says, I'm here from Massachusetts. Carson, Mr. Nola guy. Mr. Nola guy. Carson, a song. I'm always up for singing random songs. You guys know that. But we are not necessarily doing karaoke. We are simply chiming in on what is relevant. It just hits my brain. You know, I think when people diagnosed ADHD or people just with very busy streams, and of course, Carl Jung would say that 60% of us have at least 12 archetype tabs going at all times. Yeah, sure. Ruth says, man, I'm sorry I've been missing. Don't be sorry. For those of you guys, it is summer. So Matt and I, we are always on the understanding, like Matt, he's not here tonight, that we have stuff we got to do. We've got family, friends, work. We've got all sorts of scheduling stuff that conflicts, and we don't necessarily get paid to do this show. So this is an hour out of our night that we take to share with everybody. And sometimes it just doesn't fall into place. So don't be sorry at all. We're glad you're joining us now, Ruth. So Friday, put a dot on your piece of paper. Friday. This is what we should expect. The sun, the center of our galaxy. The sun is in Cancer. What does that mean? You guys. Texting somebody at my work. I apologize for that. The sun in Cancer. The center of our galaxy, the pole, the sun. It's everything. It's what motivates you. It can be different for everyone. So whatever it is that comes to your mind, what you know, is going to be in the sign of water, catching fish in a barrel kind of a thing, Cancer. I always think of the Cancer crab, that crab on the beach. Their home is never in the same spot. They are moving with the tide. Sometimes it's going to be underwater. You know, the crab is moving sideways. They have a really unique peripheral way of feeling, and they're always on the move. So the idea that our motivations, our passions, our fire, give me fuel, give me fire, is going to be on the move. It might be sidewinding. It might be taking a shift. Kind of an interesting thought. So the moon is also going to be playing onto this. But the sun in Cancer, creative aspects will transform your space into something very personal and very much your own. A great day for decorating. Go ahead and take some time to remodel, move into some new spaces that are coming into helping you know who you are. Identity work, passions and self motivations for you and fire in your life is reignited by emotional triggers and signs. And this is sextile. What does that mean? Ooh, la, 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 la. It's a geographical, mathematical thing. But sextile, meaning locational wise on the planet grid, to Uranus and Taurus. So there's also going to be unexpected curveballs of passion. Sparks are afoot. Certain things are sneaky. Do you know what I mean? Ruth Noble says, man, can I ask about a question? Absolutely ask a question. Ruth, I'll do my best to get to it as I continue to speak about the week ahead. But the Uranus and Taurus, and it's been there for a long time because Uranus is a planet way out there. And so it moves very slowly through the constellations, and it has been in the sign of Taurus for some time now, and it will be for some time to come. And we kind of know what to expect when things align with this. It's always a little unique. And you begin to watch the patterns. If you do this with us weekly, you'll see like every time that something shifts sextile or conjunct to, you'll see how it goes, oh, snap, really? So some of the introspective, who are you really? Who are you? That's the caterpillar from Alice in Wonderland. There's some of these things in the universe kind of being asked of us, and sparks. Who are you? What are you doing? What is your passion? Where are you going? Now, this is a Friday night. So this kind of already tells me that, oh, okay, I see some stuff going down on Friday where people might be switching things up or curveballs might be happening to them, and people might be falling in love. They might be taking new career shifts. They might be learning something new about them. It might be a high school reunion, like an epiphany of sorts, kind of falling into line after some of the Pluto movements this week would make sense. So Friday is going to be a fun evening for awareness and learning and emotion and passion and some curveballs that you can't even expect right now. So you don't even have to worry about writing them down on your piece of paper. Saturday, only one thing happens. The moon. What? If Matt were here, he'd be like, it's just not that big of a deal. Because the moon moves so frequently, so quickly. It's usually about every 2.5 days. It's moving into a new constellation across the sky. But those movements, because they're happening so frequently, you may not notice them. It's like driving past your neighbor's house every day. Because it happens so frequently, you don't notice it, which is kind of silly because it's something that's actually very close to us and it matters quite a bit. So I do pay attention to the moon. I'm a woman who menstruates. And so I'm also someone who works with people, and sociological behavioral patterns do matter and move with the tide. They do. So paying attention to the moon for me is very significant. And I would say that I watch it pretty closely. So we're going to talk about Saturday, the moon waning into Cancer. Ruth said, I live by nearby air forces and I'm seeing a lot of airplanes going through. Should I be worried? I wouldn't say worried, but I would say on high alert, not only for things specifically with the Ukraine and Russia, as some of the NATO things are going down overseas. We'll talk more about that on No Man's Land, my other podcast that's more political in nature, but because of the like Sweden and different countries popping in and out of those discussions. And there's some real talks right now with cluster bombs and war crimes and pointing fingers. And if certain decisions are made, there's just a lot of standby on high alert. Plus, we're kind of post-Independence Day. So there was a lot of training and simulation things that were done in conjunction with air shows and celebratory things, because why not kill 5 birds with 1 stone? And then as far as the UAP phenomenon goes, or UFOs, as we previously called them for decades, but now things are a little bit more interdimensional and also inclusive of things like magnetic drones or holograms or things that might be visual hallucination, hologram type related things. So it not necessarily that it's not real, unidentified flying object, but that it would be a phenomenon. So some uses of language and some shifting in that for good reason. And the Air Force is predominantly going to be the forefront of some of those things happening in and around the coastline too. So some cool things happening in and around the UAP phenomenon stuff that we should see on high alert towards more the 27th of this month. But I wouldn't say worried. Worried is not the word. That's more of a water word, alchemy, to have it rustle your heart or circulatory stuff. I would say it is something to be aware of. Keep your eyes and ears peeled, your heart closed, and just your earth information open. Where can No Man's Land be found? That is on my YouTube, which is I found through Paranormal Sarah. If you go to myparanormalsarah.com, you'll see the links there. Or if you join me on my YouTube station or channel, you will find it there. And I'm really hopeful that Subspace will be doing that as well, because No Man's Land is probably one of my more popular and favorite shows. And it seems to get me shut down and reported. So unfortunately, because it will freeze and tinker with my social media, I don't advertise it as much. But thank you for looking at checking that out. And right now, it's just something that I do randomly. It used to be every day at noon, but I work and go to school and I'm a full-time mom and all the things. So it's kind of hard to do that and stick to it. But it is something that I do at least 2 episodes a week. And I would love for you to join in for that and sign up for notifications. Feel free to do so. That is, again, No Man's Land. And it's a political podcast on some of the things happening in our world today. So, Ruth, I hope that helps you. Saturday. Let's go ahead and put Saturday up. That is the moon waning into Cancer. So what should we expect for Saturday morning after kind of a passionate, sparky Friday that's going to be maybe life-changing for us? Ooh, that's exciting. The Saturday, July 15th, the moon waning. So feelings continue to wane, to minimize, and the heart is more aware of home and what matters most. Cancer is a sign that suggests we look around using that side eye and shifting ability to be prepared for movement, whatever kind that might be. That tides are changing. This is Bob Dylan guiding me here. And times are a-changing. Tides are a-changing. And how you feel about that needs to grow as well. So the divination suggestion or shadow work is going to be home details and minimizing. So maybe purging or recycling, donating things, taking stuff out to the trash, giving things out, burning, having a bonfire, opening your windows, putting a candle, saging. It's actually best to do saging or burning of bundles of herbs or an incense rather than a candle that might have a lot of chemicals or parabens and things going into the air. So just something to think about. And we just, Carson said, "Oh my God, I just thought of Bob Dylan." which the synchronicity of Bob Dylan, of course, is like chocolate chip cookies, SNL, and this skit that my sister and I used to watch of a comedian that would do a Bob Dylan parody. And it was a really great, like 1.5 hour Comedy Central special after Kids in the Hall of a man who did a full on skit in his apartment. And it was like his day off or day home from work or rent is due, or I forget what the name of it was. It was on a VHS and we watched it so many times that the title rubbed off. So I don't even remember what it was called or who the actor or comedian was. My sister would know. But there's a whole thing that he does that makes fun of Bob Dylan. And it was so funny that my sister and I, we had memorized it. And then my dad ended up taking us to a county fair where Bob Dylan was the opening act. And my sister and I just giggled and laughed the whole time because we wanted to do that parody. And he sounded so much like the comedian that did the parody of him that it was just a really good core memory and experience that I have. It's very funny in nature. It's very lighthearted. And of course, being in Minnesota now, Bob Dylan, his lyrics are everywhere, right up there with Prince. And he's very well spoken of, and people are very fond of him here in Minnesota. So we'll just only say nice things about Bob Dylan. So yeah. So thank you for that. Saturday, that's the only thing happening, guys. So this is, and I don't want to, be too stereotypical about saying it's going to be more into affecting water signs and probably females or menstruating females. It is that subtle moon shift, but because it's happening on a weekend, I'm always interested in how people and human behaviors move on the weekends. And it is different than on a weekday when people are working. And we're kind of post-holiday space, so people are still a little groggy. And it's going to be after all of these solar flares. So people are going to be feeling a little exhausted. Friday is going to be this kind of awakening and cool shift. So then Saturday is like, oh man, like, could I move there? Like, could I see myself in Louisiana? Like, wow, I never thought about that before. Could I take that new job? Like you're going to be ignited with sparks in new ways. That's going to be pretty cool. So then we take another pan out. It's kind of like, vectoring out just tiny bit each time as you look at the week in the eventual 7 days. But then, of course, we have a month, and then you can look at it yearly too. You can look at all the things. Really helps you get an idea of both being connected and some awareness to what to expect. Sunday, no major astrological movements. This does not happen very often. Maybe every few weeks do you have a day where you look at the planets and nothing is shifting into a new constellation. What? Nothing is really moving. Huh? Interesting. Yeah. So what does that mean? Well, it doesn't mean anything. But what it usually means when I've watched it over the years now, it's been more than 17 years now that Matt and I have been kind of plotting and planning and watching some of these things, doing podcasts in relation to astrology movements. And when there's no astrological movements, it seems to be kind of a day of rest, but it's also falling on a Sunday, which is a day of rest. So it might suggest that whatever is happening Friday and Saturday with these deep introspective, transformative things happening in the ether and in the astrological way, that like, what? People are going to take some major time to do some reflecting. That there's going to be like, you know what, before I blow up my life, before I make these big shifts, before I pack up everything and say, that's it, I'm moving, before I make these huge lateral, and not lateral because they're not, they could also be advancements, promotions, but they're definite like shifts or movements that are signifying that, you're going to be making a change. Before you do that, you're just going to take it all in. Hi, Dolly. Hi, Mary Beth. You're just going to be taking it all in on Sunday. So you don't have to worry about anything being too influential, something, knocking you out, sideswiping you, taking you out, unexpected. There's not going to be a whole lot of that. Sunday is going to be a nice, calm day to just take it all in. Take it all in. Absorb. That Cancer energy is about being aware of the movements, man. Be aware of the movements. Now, Monday. Oh, you know how I go. Monday. There is some major stuff changing. There's some stuff happening. Stuff that I hear my dog walking around. It makes me nervous. I hope he doesn't poop on the floor. He's been doing that a lot lately. It makes me mad. He's just upset. Monday, it looks like, is it 2 things happening? What? 1, 2, 3. 3 things are happening. That could be serious. What's going on? First, man, there's some North Node stuff happening. Usually we don't talk a lot about North Node stuff. Field guy says Monday, skip it. We can't do that. But what we can do is be prepared. We can say, what's going on? And that North Node is going to enter Aries. So we talked a little bit about that. North Node is like your life theme, right? Life themes catch fire. Ooh, baby. Rebellious, fiery energy. Aries, yes. Independent, outlaw, coursing through your veins. You begin to dance to the rhythm. Dance to the rhythm of the of your own drum. Make sure you do not burn any bridges on this way out the door because you're going to be on fire, dancing, shaking. You're not even paying attention. Life themes catching fire, and you're on a roll. And you may not notice that you just kicked somebody on the way out, that you just locked yourself on the rooftop because you were so busy dancing. And that's not a bad thing that you're busy dancing, but you're on fire. So be aware of collateral damage. See who it is that you're touching on fire, because that fire is going to spread. Fire spreads. That's what I'm putting in the political space for the bigger things. And so the divination and shadow work is anytime that you know that you're on fire, anytime that you know that something is contagious on fire, which can be destructive. It's like the stop, drop, and roll. Stop, drop, and roll. And what does that mean? Spiritually speaking and shadow work, that's what's exciting is you get to do the neurolinguistics of what, stop what, who, what, when, where, why, drop what, who, what, when, where, why, roll what. And it really can become some personal journaling and growth. And that's kind of the idea of the divination and shadow work and using that astrology and alchemy to do so, because other people are going to be stopping, dropping, and rolling things. So being aware of what that is in your life tunes you into what other people are doing as well, even subconsciously, unconsciously, that they don't even realize they're doing. So two more things happening on Monday, the North Node in Aries. But then also, what? That can't be true. Is that true already? That can't be. Is it going to be? Holy cow, it's going to be. It's a new moon already. We've waned ourselves down all the way to a new moon, and it's in Cancer. Oh, blubbity blubber, blah, blah, blah. A new moon is a big deal, right? As far as the moon goes, if Matthew were here, he would say, listen, I'm not looking at it every 2.5 days. I'm not looking at it every 2 days. But when it's at its newest, meaning that out there in nature, there is no light on, somebody turn the light on. Nope, it's not there. The moon's gone. You look up and you're not getting that additional reflective light. You're not able to see things in the forest. If you have bad eyes, bad vision, a bad toe, you rolled your ankle, you're not doing great, you're exhausted, you just had your period, you're just, you haven't been eating, you're feeling off. You don't want to be out in a new moon because you may not see where you're going. It's not clear out there. And things are on fire. So people are going to feel a little bit more apt to be cozy in a new moon. And this particular new moon is perfect for building a safe space because it's in Cancer. It's that crab on the beach. Nurturing loved ones, finding out what home means to you, creating your own safe spaces, traditions, emotional foundations, building anew. What are you building out of? What does home mean to you? Very, very important. You know what I mean? New moon is a great time to clean, open your windows, put bleach down your drains, maybe. Oh, I bet all the plumbers are just wincing when I say that. I do that because of the fruit flies, but that's not always great for your pipes, I guess. Hot water. I put that down your pipes. And then close them off, put duct tape or something on the top. The things that you do in the summer to just refresh your space. Get some eucalyptus from the floral place, just a few things, roll it with a rolling pin between some paper towel, and then hang it in your shower for the next, week or so until it gets all weird. That it makes your showers all fresh. There's all sorts of little things that you can do to cleanse the home. I take peppermint oil. If you're real lazy, you can do Listerine. That's mostly for outside, especially the no sugar kind, the gold one. Mix it with water, a little bit of vinegar, a little bit of soap, Dove dish soap, Dawn is what I meant. And spray that around your house. Keep all the bugs away. People will do all sorts of fun things, hang fresh flowers over their front door on the new moon. These are all suggestions of, and particularly through the constellation of Cancer, that little crab on the beach, that you want to get things flowing. Mary says, I wonder if the kittens will be born on that new moon. Absolutely. New moon and full moon is when all that stuff goes down. It's when births happen and deaths happen. If you have somebody lingering in the purgatory, this is where that crossover begins. And home, particularly, is going to be the theme. Now, the last thing to happen on Monday night. Monday night. I don't know what that was, but it better be not bad. Monday night. Mercury will be in Leo. What? That's our communication. That's how we speak. Our thoughts moving down into our mouth is going to be going through the constellation of the lion. Great. The pride. The lion, the person who's got kind of a powerful ego, but again, kind of fiery. That's cool because our North Node's in Aries. We got some fire energy going on. Water and fire. Get out our firefighters and be sure and ask them what kind of fire you use water on, and because it's not every fire. Okay. So, Mercury in Leo, this cutthroat aspect can be very intimidating as everyone is fighting for a spot at the top of the mountain. Give it your all, but do not give it something that you will be ashamed of. Hear me? Roar loudly, but don't embarrass yourself. Okay? That's really important. This is really key for Monday night. And to pay attention for just everybody around you. They're going to be maybe saying some really dumb, powerful shit. And it's squaring off with a square angle, Jupiter in Taurus. So this is a conflicting energies that suggest think on that. It's almost like, somebody says, oh yeah, well, blah, 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 blah. And then Jupiter is the give me more of that. And it's in the sign of Taurus, which is extremely stubborn. So think on that. And it inserts mind seeds that can be really good or really bad. So who wins? This is an absolute long game of mental seeds. Sowing the seeds of love and the seeds of love. And we're sowing like that's the song that comes in to my mind. I need to listen to the lyrics of that song because there's going to be something in that I think that is extremely relevant. This is important because, you can also say something that really ruins a relationship or an opportunity for yourself because you just let something slip that, dang, why'd you do that? Well, because you weren't thinking. You were in a fire space. And that also means other people are going to be quick to say things too. So we don't want to let it penetrate too deeply, too harshly. And then we will be into Tuesday. It'll be a full week. Can you believe that? It'll have been a full week. And it'll be post new moon vibes. I just moved my altar around, so I'll probably add a few more things or maybe go buy a new crystal. I'm going to be selling a bunch of my jewelry here shortly for the summer. I had shared for my going to Kansas City. I'm raising money for Kansas City. So I'm doing some reading specials, some tarot, some palm reading, and some really cool astrological divination reading specials throughout the week. But also getting rid of some of my really cool jewelry because I don't wear it. And I want it to go to someone who will use it. And it's hard to put that all on my website. I would rather just kind of do like a cool auction. So for those of you who have asked me about a lot of the pieces I wear on the show, if you ever watch the videos, I am going to be parting with some of those because literally I was looking at my jewelry the other day. It was all tangled because I have so much. So I really need to minimize. That is a part of that Cancer vibe. How are you using it? That's how I'm using it. So Tuesday, it'll be a full week, guys. And I can't believe it. This is going to be what we should expect. Tuesday, Dolly says, man, I just figured out that menthol rubbing alcohol makes the best bug spray. I have not tried it as a repellent. It absolutely is a great repellent. I love to spray it around my door frames, around my windows, on the outside. I live in a log cabin, so it's relevant for me if you have siding or other things that it might degrade or wear down. That might be a different thing. Maybe just spray it over your garden because it won't kill the plants like other horrible things does, but you can spray it around those entryways to your home and it will deter ants and other flying bugs and beetles and things of that nature. It's pretty cool. So, and it's nice. It's a nice, refreshing smell, right? Okay. Citronella too. You can always use citronella and things like that, but I like peppermint and Listerine, man. It's powerful. It's a powerful drug. Anyway, Tuesday, the only thing that is happening, just put one little dot there on your day. And it's still that post new moon vibes on cleaning and measuring what is home. That's key. But the moon is waxing. And so feelings and emotions are growing, building, and blossoming over pride, self-growth, opportunity, and prideful accomplishments are to be recognized. Use gratitude to feel better. Divination and shadow work is what are you proud of? And who is the leader of the pack? Leader of the pack. You knew I was going there, right? Who is the leader of the pack? That is key for Tuesday, July 18th, which will be a full week from today. And in that week, we are going to have a new moon. So we are going to have some awareness. We are going to have some burning bridges, some people catching things on fire that they didn't mean, a lot of Freudian slips through our own accomplishments and prideful moments. Ooh, baby. It sounds like it's going to be a really exciting week ahead, astrologically speaking. Not too crazy, not any Neptune and Pisces moments or anything like that. But that North Node would suggest that there's going to be some indications of some real passion shifts, some real off-road courses that might take what we thought we were doing, where we were going. It might completely take us off course into a new area. That is kind of cool. It makes me think of if I were playing Zelda, these are the squares on the map that you've never been to yet. You don't know what to expect. And whereas you thought it was going to be more sand stuff or underground things, it's just a whole new level you couldn't even have created if you tried. That's exciting to be open to those things, to know that, like if you're in the never ending story and it's hundreds of thousands of miles away and you're at that moment of just feeling like you could give up, those are the moments that the universe sends you these luck dragons, and that you are going to have an opportunity shift, something that allows you to make a change that you didn't even see coming or possible. And that's pretty cool. So there are a lot of suggestions from the stars that they're positive in nature. They indicate positive growth. So hopefully people are able to use that. Then again, a burning bridge or a burned field is always something to be positive about because of just what fire energy does. A lot of times people give fire signs a bad rap because of their fiery way. They're dangerous. Those Aries energies, those Sagittarius, my best friend in the whole world is a Sagittarius. I can't make plans with her. I can't say, hey, can I be there next Thursday and we get coffee and I'll be there at 8:00. She won't show up. And that's not because she doesn't love me. It's because she's a fire sign that is flying by the seat of her pants any given day, and she can't remember where she's supposed to be. They are spontaneous in nature. They don't overthink. They are doers. They will show up in the middle of the night if you say, Mayday, Mayday, need you now. They will drop whatever they are doing, even though they don't ever answer the phone half the time because they're not someone to keep their phone on them. They will hear, they will wake up out of a dead sleep. They will have an intuitive spike in their side that tells them that it is time to act. Fire signs are good for doing. They are action. They are power. And so they may not be thinking that much, but sometimes that's what you need, is to throw that wild card down. And they're the berserker. Berserker energy is dangerous and powerful. It's inspiring and motivating. And it does create opportunity, which is exactly what we're seeing kind of afoot here in the universe. So Carson said, I tried buying something from you on Etsy, but it said you were sold out. What? Carson, you better double check. Some of my stuff on Etsy does get sold out because some of my stuff is just, it's only one thing. But if you go to paranormalsarah.com, you will see some of my really cool specials. And if you guys do have PayPal or Venmo or Cash App, I can take payments there as well. I'm doing my $33 reading specials this week for divination, bibliomancy, as well as tarot spreads. And I am raising money for Kansas City. I'm still booking portrait sessions, private readings, and some really cool mentoring slots there in Kansas City when I am present at the end of the month. If you guys are anywhere near Kansas City, Missouri and want to hook up in person, please let me know. I'll also be driving through Minneapolis. I might be in the Arkansas, Tennessee area after that. And I would love to meet with you in person. I usually do the Haunted America conference with Troy Taylor every year. I was not there this year, and I was so sad to have missed it because my friend April Slaughter said it was fantastic. So if you're someone who has reached out to me going, where were you? Please know I want to be there. Let Troy know to have me there next year, and I'll remind him that we need to make that happen. I think that was he and I both dropping the ball on that. But I miss being back in the conference circuit, and my boys are old enough now that they can either join me or they can go stay with friends, which is kind of cool to be in that space again as a mom that can make plans. Hey, Jason, there is one of my favorite online DJs bringing some really cool online music awareness and just social interaction, community education. Jason out of Minneapolis. So good to see you here tonight, Jason. We are finishing up here on Astrology and Alchemy. You guys, I do hope that you will join me over on all the social media platforms. Sign up. I'm not asking for anything. There's no money or firstborn children yet that I'm requiring. And that's for later. That's for the other stuff. But for No Man's Land, especially, and for all of the free reading specials that I have popping up, I do on occasional some giveaways, some haunted things, if you should believe in that sort of stuff. But I do hope to touch base with each and every one of you. I thank you for listening. Don't forget to check out Odyssey Radio, Subspace Radio, the Paranormal Channel, and of course, your very favorite Paranormal Sarah at paranormalsarah.com. Please, 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 please go on there, check it out, get a reading, buy a gift card. I would love to have money to go to Kansas City and to give you divine guidance. I like to see what gets stirred up in all of those readings, and I can't do it without you. So I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in tonight to Astrology and Alchemy. We're here every Tuesday at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time, and then played throughout on Odyssey and Subspace Radio. You can check us out, download us for free. Again, guys, I appreciate your support. I hope you have a great week. I hope you have a wonderful new moon. Man, thank you so much for showing up. And I hope to touch base with you guys on the flip side. Until then, let me do what it is that we got to get going on the outro.